Good evening, Director. How are you?
Good afternoon, Council President,
Good.
honorable council members.
All
On
right.
be,
Well, you can go ahead and get started with the opening statement. We delighted
thank
to
you.
have you this evening, and we're looking forward to a great budget hearing discussion.
Thank you. Good evening, Council President, honorable council members. On behalf of the Department of Public Works, I, Director Craig Smith, will be presenting our annual budget, assisted by Senior Administrative Analyst Walford Ennis. Thank you for allowing us. I'd first like to open up with a brief overview of the department and the services that we provide. We are comprised of 5 divisions: sanitation, parks and grounds, public buildings, motors, and director's office, under which potholes, recycling, tree unit, and demolition are subdivisions. These services that we provide are what we at DPW like to call the nuts and bolts that keep our city pulled tightly together in order to thrive effectively. Daily, we endeavor to provide these services in a manner that serves our city effectively and efficiently. And so saying, we clean, we collect, we repair, and we maintain to the best of our ability, day in and day out, with a never-ceasing commitment. We do understand that along with this commitment comes responsibility. Besides providing the residents and city with the clean and courteous service that they deserve, there's also the responsibility of ensuring that tax dollars are spent in a fiscally responsible manner while the department pursues its endeavors. It is with this understanding that the Department of Public Works moves forward. To mention some of our current projects, one being the construction of the Verone Avenue Salt Dome. This location will supply a readily available supply of salt to the north and east wards in case of storm or inclement weather. Trucks can be contained in their ward to provide more expeditious service, cutting down loss of time for having to travel across town to our other facilities. Completion of this salt dome is slated for October 2023. Distribution of 65-gallon trash carts to all 1 through 4 family dwellings throughout the city. Carts with attached lids help contain unsightly trash, which assists in providing a healthier neighborhood appearance. Residual trash is reduced as the ordinance now reads: no bags on curb, no loose trash in bags, trash in bags and cans. The rodent infestation can be reduced by the bags no longer being curbside, therefore reducing spillage that might otherwise attract them. Beginning March 2023, we distributed 5,000 cans equitably throughout the 5 wards. We are in the process of purchasing another 15,000 cans to be distributed throughout the wards by fall 2023. Bringing recycling in-house. Challenges: providing a clean and more courteous service, no more throwing cans, no leaving residual trash overall, and the ability to abate in a timely manner. What do we do for or during those challenges? We've purchased 5 additional trucks, which should arrive September 2023 through December. The Department of Public Works has plans to purchase an additional 15 trucks, which will be distributed between refuse and recycling to increase our ability and upgrade our fleet. One other measure in the challenges is the split shift, which has helped tremendously. 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. This gives us more access to our existing fleet, providing the ability to collect recycling during normal work hours, cutting down overtime while we await the arrival of our new trucks. Our approved budget for 2022 was $67.5 million. Our requested budget for 2023 is $66 million. Of that $66 million, to date, we have spent $23.5 million. We humbly await council's questions. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Director Smith. Let's go into council questions. Councilman Silva?
Director Smith, good afternoon. Thank you and your team for being here. Outside of public safety, I'm going to say that your department is the second most important department in this entire city. So I commend you guys for doing an amazing job under the circumstances, taking over for an outside entity that was doing our recycling horribly. I know it's not easy. I saw that you have less personnel this year than you did last year. Looks like, and trying to get everything organized in the last few months with the recycling and everything like that is an issue. My only concern is it happens a few times. I don't know if it happens in the other wards. I'm just being specific to the East Ward. And again, you guys are doing an amazing job. Is sometimes my recycling or garbage is not picked up the day it's supposed to be picked up. And then it sits out there. And then my office is getting inundated with calls and all that stuff. Is there a reason for that? Is that because of staffing? There's a staffing issue? If it is, what can we do to correct that problem?
So you're dead on. Staffing would be the issue affecting the issue you described. Again, that split shift has allowed us to be able to abate and during our normal work hours. And the only time, for the most part, that we have any challenges is due to lack of staff, absences, and things of that nature. However, we are carefully monitoring daily, and we have been documenting and replacing accordingly so that we, in the hopes of gaining employees who are dedicated to what it is that we do at Public Works.
Listen, at the end of the day, I don't think the responsibility is all on you. It's on our residents, too, to put the garbage out correctly, to put it out properly. And I drive around a lot, and I see that, and this is my ward, where the residents aren't doing the right thing. We ask that they get receptacles. We don't, garbage bags just don't work. We're trying to get rid of that. So at the end of the day, the responsibility also falls on our residents to put out the garbage the proper manner to make it easier for you guys when you guys pick it up. The second thing I wanted to ask you, my final question was the receptacles. How many have you given out in each ward till date? Do you know the number?
In each ward, I'll definitely supply that to council at a later date.
And the
Or
next,
each ward, but
yeah, and the next time you'll be giving out those receptacles is in the fall, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, Director.
Yes.
Councilman Gonzalez.
I'm looking at motors.
Motors?
They can't hear you.
Yes, we're looking at motors where you have less employees from 212 to 201. However, the salaries went from $8.5 million to $10.6 million. So we have a $2.1 million increase in salary while we have 11 less employees.
Can you repeat the question, Councilman, please?
Yes, I just want an explanation of why, let's say, in motors, actually Public Works, not motors, Public Works.
Oh, okay.
Public Works. The salary line in 2022 was $8.5 million. The salary line for this year is $10.6 million. And last year you have 212 employees. This year you have 201 employees. So you lost 11 employees, but the salaries went up $2 million. You have a decrease in personnel service other that more or less corresponds to the increase, but I just want to know why the salary line is much higher.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, members of the council, Madam Chair. Just to answer Councilman Gonzalez's question there. Councilman Gonzalez, I believe you're referring to the Division of Sanitation. Is that so?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so in the Division of Sanitation, yes, we saw a decrease in the head count from 212 in 2022 to 201 in 2023. And we also saw an increase in salaries. Most of that should come from the Council 21 bargaining. Most of that should come from that.
We have heard that before. I would like to know how much of that increase was due to the Council 2021 negotiations.
But Council 21 increase averaged out about 8% year over year from the time from 2019 to 2022. So we're looking at a difference of about
That's less than $1 million
correct.
of
So-
the $2.1 million. So what's the rest?
That we can do an analysis for you. And
Will you
give like
please,
a good-
will you
a good
please,
detail.
I just want to know more just in general terms, in addition to Council 21, what other increases happened to bring that number up to $1 million?
Correct. We can give you an analysis of that.
Okay, no problem.
Madam Clerk, please add it to the list of what we would like to know.
Yes, Madam
Mm-hmm.
I believe that, let's say, those questions must be answered expeditiously because the budget process ends soon. So we must have those answers before we can move the budget ahead.
So
Understood.
just to provide clarity, all of the questions that we ask for each one, we want the answers back immediately, not like, I don't care if it was a budget exact question or programmatic question. We're looking for answers from all departments right away. Mr. BA? Okay, any other questions, Councilman Gonzalez, right now?
That was it.
Okay, Councilman Crum?
Let me compliment the director because of his ability to respond to questions on an expeditious basis. We have had some issues with the recycling. I have communicated with the director, and that has been corrected the same day within the hour. So thank you very much, director. It shouldn't happen, but when it happens, you are taking care of it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Councilman.
Thank you, Councilman Gonzalez. Councilman Crum?
Thank you, Council President. Good evening. First, I agree with what Councilman Gonzalez says, probably the most receptive, responsive department that we deal with, that at least I know I deal with in terms of getting back to us and resolving issues. But my question, and I don't know if you were here for the recreation and senior services discussion, but the question I had was regarding JFK and safety bars and handicap height toilets to be installed at JFK Rec Center, the poolside particularly. We were informed that that's a DPW question. And so I'm asking DPW about that.
So the issue, I will definitely say that it is a DPW question because it was the manner in which the lifts in the bars were to be installed. And with the vendor, there was an issue with being able to install them in that manner. And if my memory serves right, we had to seek out a new vendor to abate the issue. And so where it stands now, I will definitely provide that as well to the council as immediately as possible.
All right, please do. I'm curious.
I just wanted
Would it
to
have
jump in
go-
real quick. There was 2 items actually that they said belong to public buildings to be exact, which was the repairs for the ice rink, all of the things that we have to do down there, as well as the upgrades to JFK, which is more than just the safety bars. I'm talking on the pool side. more than just the safety parts. We've had issues with the locker room, with the bathroom, all of those things. And we would hope somebody be able to tell us, you came in here with like 500 people. Somebody got to have an answer back there.
Yes,
I
so,
mean, maybe they could get it while we here, because this is what we here for. I mean, some stuff we got to answer today.
Yeah.
Like, we can't get a response about everything, but those were the two upgrades that we were talking with Department of Recreation, that they said it lies with public buildings, and we want to know when those upgrades are going to be done.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yep, that would come under their public buildings department.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's.
I think I see Farrell back there. I mean, I see like 500 people. So, I mean, I'm sure someone has a answer, has to have one, somebody. Maybe Farrell can gather it. In the meantime, while we get Farrell to come up with the answer, Councilman Crump, I think you had some other things that I cut you off on.
No, that was my.
Oh, okay, then we could jump right into Farrell then.
And he was specifically talking about the lifts at JFK, the lifts that need to be installed. So what the director was inferring was that the lifts that they had to go back out and purchase new lifts. So the question probably would be when the new lifts are coming in, when those are going to be installed.
Okay. Well, I heard like 4 different things. I thought there was like a new vendor, need for a new vendor. I'm not sure at this point. I'm just trying to get an answer. Okay, y'all ready? Hey,
right.
Farrell, nice of you to join us. Okay, all right. Okay. You want us to repeat it for you?
Yes, can you please?
Oh, you couldn't hear me back there?
just
Like,
for
I'm
clarity,
joking. I'm playing. I'm just playing. Y'all don't got to be serious.
just for clarity, he's going to speak
Okay,
to.
so one of the things,
Okay.
two of the things we wanted to know was about the upgrades to the ice rink. There are some upgrades, of course, Councilman Silva can elaborate, but there are a lot of upgrades that we were working on that fall underneath public buildings, in addition to the repairs for JFK Pool, some of the safety things we have to put in, like the new lifts, any updates that we had to make to the locker room and the bathrooms. Do you have any update regarding those upgrades?
With the Ironbound Rec Center, we was working with the engineer department, with Joe, what's his name, Joe? I know he was doing the asbestos removal, but we was waiting until he's scheduled for the asbestos removal before we could start making repairs. But I could give you that information, get back to you once I speak with Joe. So when he is scheduled for the asbestos removal, then right after that, we will start making repairs to the ice skating rink.
Okay, I'm going to take you a pause in that, and I'm going to swing to the fine gentleman to the East Ward to provide some elaboration. I'm not sure if you have a response for that,
Yeah, so
Councilman.
from engineering, it's Joe Campos, right? That's
Yes,
who you'll
Joe
be at.
Campos, yes.
So my question prior to this was that ice rink is, I mean, the building's in disarray, the whole building. I think Councilman Council will agree. My predecessor, we were working on it, but nothing was ever done. That facility was closed for 33 years, 33 years. And my question about the ice rink is that, is it feasible as well? What kind of repairs are going to happen that are going to solve all the issues that the ice rink is causing? The condensers don't work. The ceiling tiles are falling. What kind of repairs are we going to do, and cost-wise, that are going to solve this issue?
We had a problem with the roof, the roof where we scheduled a vendor. He's gonna make repairs to that. And I can't give you the exact date, but that's all part of the renovation. Once he do the asbestos removal, we're gonna take all ceiling tiles down, because some of them was falling. We did remove some that was hazardous, but we're gonna remove all of them once we do the full renovation of the ice skating rink.
Just a question, in your personal opinion, the expertise that you have, is this going to solve the problem, or this is just going to put a Band-Aid on the situation?
Oh, no, it's gonna solve the problem.
Okay.
I mean, we don't wanna keep spending money on the same thing over and over, so we just go ahead and we're gonna fix everything.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, if we can redirect some, we should have probably asked engineering when they were here too, but if we can put in a request to the Department of Engineering, Madam Clerk, and specifically about the ice rink, since it's Joe that's been working on it, to get some updates about that and what the councilman has asked. Certainly. Councilman Crump, JFK.
Oh, yeah, JFK.
Here we go.
There was a problem with the vendor. So he got another vendor, so the ball should be installed no later than next week. The handicap rails and, poolside bathroom.
So next week we'll have some installed, or we're gonna have a new vendor to get
Now we
them?
gonna have them installed.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I'm just to confirm, you said next week
Yes.
it'll
next
be
week,
installed,
yes.
so, okay.
We will have them installed.
The safety bars, the handicap, what's it called, lifts and the toilets.
The lifts of the tallest, yes, we will replace that too.
Well, that'd
But
be-
Director Redden, when we had a meeting and discussed it, he said handicap bars was feasible.
Yeah.
We didn't need to adjust the tallest.
To do just a second.
Yes,
Okay.
just the
Okay.
bars itself.
All right. Thank you.
All right, see, that was good. Okay, Farrell, thank you. That's all we needed. Come on up from the back. That's all we had. Thank you, Farrell.
There you go.
Thank you.
Councilman Crump, did you have any other questions?
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councilman Council?
Oh, yeah, good afternoon. Just want to first talk about the 18 vacancies and what are you doing to fill those 18 vacancies? And these 66 provisional employees, which is exhaustive. And how many CSS workers do we have that are working in the department currently? And what is the plan to build recycling organization into the division of recycling? Because you brought recycling in-house. And so I didn't see it anywhere in the budget of where you're going to put that under. I don't think that you would, if that's a different division, right, put it under sanitation. Or if you're going to put it under sanitation, then the cost analysis of what needs to be broken down should have been blended into those dollars amounts about the number of people, the organizational chart of what recycling looks like, who's the supervisor of recycling, how many people are a part of it. So just that as a note. And then your tree, not your tree contract, but the trimming of trees, the dollars amounts that you have in that line, that really needs to be increased. Because outside of what you do in terms of tree removal, stump and tree removal, there has to be a season where you go back and you cut and trim the trees back, right? And there is no contract, there's no dollar amount that is adequate enough that has been put into that line for tree services, right? For example, on Pomona, if you're going straight down Bergen, there's been a tree that's been hanging over the sign on Pomona Avenue for years. And so that tree has never been cut back. We just had to, get folks to cut those trees back from all of the stop signs along Madison Avenue. And so in that tree line, there needs to be an exhaustive amount. I'm not going to be the one to forecast what is in there, but clerk, I would love to see an increase in the amount of dollars put aside for tree trimming. Of the trees, the city trees, and then a plan to put together for these 66 provisional employees that may want an opportunity to be permanent in the city.
So we have in total 18 vacancies. And our goal is to reward temporary employees for good performance by, offering permanent jobs. We currently evaluating the temporary employees to determine the minimum of number of employees needed.
We need 1 in motors, 6 in parks and grounds, 4 in public buildings, and 6 in sanitation.
Right.
So you really don't have to break down where you need them at. You know where you need them. The question is, how do you get them there?
So most of our attempts right. No, but the question from the councilman is how did we get them there too? Just rephrase your question, Councilman.
Right. We have 18 vacancies.
Right.
Right? You have one in the director's office. You have one in motors. You have 6 in parks and grounds, 4 in public buildings, 6 in sanitation. How do we fill those vacancies? The director indicated that he has a pool of CSS workers that he's looking at and figuring out if they're competent and capable enough to fill these positions. How many CSS workers are housed in sanitation at this moment? What is the number?
The total number of CSS workers is 145.
145 people. So out of 145 people, you're having difficulty finding 18 people.
Well, so we examine, we look at what the vacancies are, right?
The vacancies are 1 in motors, 6 in parks and grounds, 4 in public buildings, and 6 in sanitation. Sanitation is garbage removal. Public buildings is where the manager, Mr. Farrell, just came up, taking care of all of the public buildings around the city, assessing and doing those individuals. Parks and grounds is maintenance in our parks and grounds and facilities. Motors is either a mechanic or someone working down in our motors department, and whatever the vacancy that's in your department that you need. Again, 145 people, 18 vacancies. When you gonna fill them?
So this is Walford Ennis, senior analyst there in DPW, and we've done some analytical work here regarding our vacancies. In the director's office, we have 1 vacancy. We've attempted to fill that vacancy early in the year, but we did have some challenges in filling that vacancy. Currently, it is somewhat our understanding that there could be a freeze regarding those. So
what is the position in the director's office?
This is for his assistant, the assistant for the director.
And you just said we had a freeze.
Well, those are some, when we put through the actual application, that was the comment we got back on that. So we tried to fill that vacancy early in the year.
You said that somebody told you we had a freeze.
Correct.
So we have a freeze on hiring.
Right.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So should we go down the list here?
No, we have a freeze on hiring. There's no need to go down the list. The provisional list, the 66 people that you have on that provisional list that probably will want to become permanent, what is your position and how are you working to ensure with HR that these individuals go through the proper steps, the civil service, to become permanent workers?
This is Walford Ennis. This is ongoing. Vacancies are ongoing, provisional employees.
You talk about vacancies. I'm talking about provisional workers. They're already in place.
Correct.
Right? And also a provisional worker can also be labeled as what?
Provisional.
What is another name that a provisional employee can be? An employee at will.
Correct.
Correct. Is that correct?
Not sure what the term used, but I think so. I believe so.
So you may have a provisional worker that's been working for 3 years or 4 years. Correct?
Correct.
Would you, if you were working for 3 to 4 years as a provisional worker and you were still considered to be labeled as an employee at will, meaning someone can let you go for just cause, would you still want to be a provisional worker or you want to be a permanent worker with civil service rights? Yes, that's correct.
Well, of course. Right. That is the objective here, Madam Chair and members of council. That's the objective for us, to try to move our provisional employees into a permanent position. Okay. The current tree trimming line for tree services, how much has been allocated to that line? 1.1 million. No, not for the tree contract. You talk about the tree contract is 1.1 million. I know that. Is there a separate allocation for trimming trees? Or are you saying that in that 1.1 million of the tree contract, which says that we cut trees and we remove stumps, that we also trim trees in that contract? That is correct.
That's correct. That is correct.
So out of the 1.1 million, the majority of that 1.1 million, how much have we spent year to date?
I can give you that number in a minute. However, we should also take into consideration.
I don't want to go to however.
No,
I'm dealing in specifics right now. 1.1 million tree contract to cut trees, remove stumps. How much have we spent year to date on that service compared to trimming trees?
Council,
I-
and then, let me just give him this total. Based upon our temporary appropriations, we received 559,000 so far. We've spent 500,000 out of that budget.
So you received 559,000,
59,000
and
from
you
January to June.
to January to June, and you spent 500,000 already.
That's correct.
It's a great deal, and that's just on tree removal and stump removal,
As well as trimming.
not on trimming trees.
As well as trimming. Also, certain trimming is done in-house. In-house, not on the contract, but done by regular employees, in-house.
So trimming trees is done in-house.
Some of it, depending on the height and size and things like that, how, the location of the branches, if there are wires, electrical wires, things like that, then we'd have to go to the contractor to do that.
Okay. Councilman Kelly?
Thank you, Madam President. How you doing, Director?
How you doing?
First, I want to kind of just say the same thing that the councilman said earlier. Thank you for anytime there's an issue, your response is immediate. You and your staff, and it really helps out. So thank you guys for your immediate response.
Thank you.
My question is about the Boylan Street pool. It looks like that we're spending about 1.5 or a little bit over 1.5, close to 1.7 million in fixing the pool. Are we fixing the pool now during the summertime, or is it fixed, or when will it be fixed? Will it be in time enough for the residents of the West Ward to utilize it?
As to part of your question, yes, it will be repaired in time for the residents to use it. The repair and the repairs in total to the pools in the city by Department of Public Works, the repairs that have went on this year from 2022 till now were the repairs to replace old or existing systems which were dated to the point where there was constant repair needed each season, consistent repair needed each season. So the repairs we embarked upon the past year going into this year was to rid ourselves of the problem of having to make those repairs. So those repairs that are happening are new systems put in. And because of these new systems that we're putting in, we will be able from year on to open more expeditiously each year.
That would be great for the West. When will the pool be up and running for the residents?
July 1st is our date.
Okay, that's great. The next question that I have is,
Well, I'm sorry, is it July? You saying July 1st, all of the pools will be open? Because Recreation informed us it was June 30th.
We've notified the administration that by July 1st, I want to speak correctly to it, by July 1st, I think one was we had the case of a waiting pool where the vendor backed out at the last minute saying that this was a repair that he could not do. In that case, that waiting pool will not be up, but our pools are slated to be open July 1st.
Including the one that Councilman Kelly's asking about?
Boiling. You said boiling, right?
Yes.
Yes.
okay. Next question that I have is recently DPW purchased rodent, what's the word I'm looking for? The rodent garbage cans, the rodent resistant garbage cans, right? Correct?
Correct.
And that's a trial run? Is that a trial run for the city?
No, at this stage, it's not a trial run. The trial was what we entered into in January of this year. We placed 200 cans in each ward with a total of 1,000 cans throughout the city. We picked a specific block in each ward so that they could be monitored and you wouldn't have to look all around. We notified residents. We went to community events to announce where these cans would be, to identify where they would be and give them a heads up so that they could know, go through and see if they saw any change in these areas. Cans with attached lids, 65-gallon cans, following the ordinance with compliance, of course. No bags on the curb, no loot residual trash in the bags. Trash in bags, in can, closed lids. This would prevent, as I stated in the beginning of my presentation, spillage. If there's no bags on the ground for rodents to tear through, there goes your spillage. Residual trash on the street, if there's no loose trash in the bags, and those bags are actually in the cans with compliance, then we have a chance of ridding our streets, or at least decreasing residual trash on the streets. Also, inclement weather tends to put weight on the bags, as our staff tends to bait and throw them in the trucks. They can rip open. So if they're in the can with the attached lid closed, it's a deterrent from even the inclement weather. So those are just steps that we are taking to make an attempt to provide for a cleaner, less trash-ridden city. But of course, this comes over time with compliance on both parts, and so that's our endeavor.
So let me be clear. For clarity, are the rodent-resistant trash cans, are those the same cans that we've been giving out in each one of the ward?
So the pilot program was a different can. And that's because at the time we were contracted. And so we had to use that contract. We had to purchase from that contract. Once that contract was done, then we were able to enter into a contract with a source well vendor. And those are the cans that you're seeing now. And those will be the cans. So there will be no different cans distributed here on after the pilot program. So the 5,000 cans that you saw abated, which were our normal distribution program now and not the pilot program, those are the cans that you will remain seeing for the rest of our distribution.
And those are the cans that have tracking, that you can track them, right?
Yeah, but I just want to be clear to council. So it is not an actual GPS, but yes, you can track. Well, you can if they're removed from one location or the location at which they were delivered, and it is cited somewhere, then yes, you can scan that can, and you will know where that can was delivered at that point, and it can be placed back there.
Okay, so I seen cans that were metal that were considered rodent-resistant trash cans. Are those different from the hard plastic with the top trash cans that were dispersed to the residents?
So, Councilman, you say you saw metal cans. Who distributed metal cans?
That's why I'm asking, are the rodent-resistant cans that are the metal cans, similar to the New York project that they had with the rodent-resistant cans, do we have those cans?
We do not have metal cans.
So the cans that you're saying that are rodent-resistant cans are the hard plastic cans with the tops, with the lids attached, that have been distributed throughout the ward? That's the same cans?
Yes, they're made. I am not the manufacturer of those cans, but they are made out of a material where it has been part of the specs of the can is that they're rodent resistant.
And when we get the rest of those cans distributed to the residents in the West?
So after our distribution March, the beginning of March of the 5,000 cans, our next distribution will be fall of 2023. In that distribution will be 15,000 cans, which will be, again, distributed equitably throughout the 5 wards. And then through 2024, we will distribute the remainder of cans in total. It was an endeavor that would incur at least about 35,000 cans, as there according to GFI, is about 35,000 or so of those 1 through 4 family residences throughout the city.
Okay, so the last time we talked about the cans, we said in June, it was like the first couple of weeks of June, then it was late June, that the West Ward will receive the remainder of the cans. Have those cans been distributed?
No, those cans have not been distributed. Those cans are actually, our date was moved back as we are a department with, for lack of a better word, many things on the table. Those are the cans that you will see distributed in the fall, that 15,000 instead of in June.
That's what I need to know.
To be
Thank
clear. Yep.
Okay, Councilman Gonzalez.
I have a very quick question. Are you covering the gas charges for the cars? Is that your responsibility?
Say that again, Councilman, please.
The gas charges, are those charges in your department?
Gas charges?
Yeah, the gasoline.
The
Yes.
gas, yeah.
Yes.
What line is that, and what department?
Just a second.
We should go to this is Walford Ennis again, senior analyst. We should go to the Department of Motors.
In motors.
Yes.
Department of Motors. Let me just try to get to your line there. One second. Under 6002. And we should come down under the.
That's a $4 million for materials and supplies? No, that's 4,212,000. Is that line?
One second, let me just get the line for you. That would be on page 7 of 19 in your booklet.
7 of 19.
Page 7 of 19 in your booklet. And let's come down on the materials and supplies. And your gasoline line would be 83510 and 83520 for your diesel and gasoline.
1,008,000 and diesel 1,002,000. That's the line.
So
No?
for this year, 2023, our appropriation stands at 1.825 million.
Yeah. That line used to be much higher than. Is that because we have, let's say, we have a purchase in volume, or how it's? Because I remember that line being much higher than $1.8 million.
Well, last year we spent.
2 million and change.
Okay, that
was the budget.
That we spent just about that, 2.016. Yes.
Is that because we have more electric cars, more efficient cars?
Yeah, Van Crossing,
Van Crossing.
Manager Motors. How you doing, council
Good.
members? Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as the gas concerned, the line for gas is 83510. That's gas line. Diesel is 83520. That's what we pay out of diesel. All right. As far as fuel, well, we got new cars now. They're operating better, saving more gas, mileage. So of course the fuel is going to go down.
Okay.
You know what
Okay. Mr. BA, are we planning to shift to electric cars anytime soon?
Yes, Councilman Eric Pennington, Business Administrator. There's a couple of factors with respect to this reduction in fuel usage. One is we haven't gone to full electric cars yet, but every police car that we purchased was mandated to be a hybrid vehicle. And we have over 100 vehicles that are on order. More than half of them have been delivered, and they're all hybrid, mostly Ford SUVs. In addition to that, in our last contract negotiation with public safety, we no longer provide gasoline to detectives anymore. That's not part of their stipend. So they have their own, they have to get private gas other than if it's being filled in a city-owned vehicle. So that's caused a reduction in their gas as well. We've also installed additional equipment on our tanks and on cars to make sure that people who get gasoline are authorized to do so. And they've done a really good job of managing that and making sure that we're doing a good job. We hope that it's going to be reflected appropriately in this budget line, and we're monitored and see where we
That
are.
was my next question. I have seen that you have a better control of who and what amount of gas you use.
Okay. Any other follow-up questions? Councilwoman Scott Roundtree? Okay, I just had one quick question, which was the amount that was budgeted for snow removal. I mean, we obviously didn't have any snow this season, so how much did we save on snow removal, and where was the money reallocated?
So, Madam Chair, that's a fact. We have been experiencing very mild winters. For this year, snow 1, snow 2, and snow 3, as we would categorize them as, we've only spent just about $400,000 for this year. So those savings are procured right now, and we're trying to use a lot of that funding for our garbage trucks, the additional trucks that we're trying to buy we're trying to lease between now and the end of the year. Most of that savings has been transferred to the garbage trucks.
What's the real number?
Say that again, Councilman?
What is the real number? How much did you have budgeted for snow removal for last year? Or for this year?
This year, let me just get quickly to that. That would be just a bit. Snow removal. Let's get quickly to that. Can I take you, Councilwoman, to page 18, 19 of the submission, OMB submission?
Mm-hmm.
And we want to take a look at line number 71920. And that will show for 2023, our appropriation stands at $2.674 million.
You said page 19?
Of your OMB.
Oh, no, I'm looking at
Sorry.
I'm looking at your book you gave me.
Okay,
This-
so we can go quickly.
You could just tell me the number. Like, I don't want to look at the book. Just tell how much money was budgeted for snow removal. That's fine. How much was it?
2.6.
2.6? Okay. And you said you only spent 400,000?
Yes, that would be for the first half of the year.
Okay. And you saying you reallocated it to the things that you guys needed, like the new trucks and different things like that, right?
That is correct.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know.
Thank you.
All righty. Any other final questions before we close out? Okay. Thank you so much, Director. Thank you to you and your 500-member team. Thank you to the DPW team for all that you do, all of your hard work, and definitely thank you for being responsive and for the team always being responsive.
Much
Thank you.
appreciated.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Council.
All right, have a good night.
You as well.
Was much better than last year.
Thank you all for coming and joining us for the budget hearing this evening. For those tuning in online as well as on Channel 78, we thank you for joining us for part 2 of our budget hearing, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, 4:00 p.m. for one of our final budget hearings with our departments. Thank you. Have a good night.